In the year 2001, something happened that will change the lives of every single little girl in America. Mattel dropped the first ever animated Barbie movie, Barbie in the Nutcracker. And little did they know that this movie will be the most impactful thing to happen in that year. It goes Barbie Nutcracker, the release of the Shrek movie, 9/11, in that order. So in August of 2023, after being an avid Barbie fan for 20 years and watching every single white guy on YouTube do a video on Barbie, I, a hot Asian girl with a delectable fat ass, had decided that I too will partake in watching every single Barbie animated movie plus the live action Barbie movie, all for the purposes of mankind. Some heroes wear capes, and some of them are hot Asian girls with fat that just love Barbie. I've got this pink shirt on, I've got my mother a dragon's wig on that's giving me a pounding migraine right now. Let's go. Hey, my name is Missy, and I'm a certified baddie with a fatty that make cringe comedy videos on TikTok and Instagram. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another dumb video I make. Now, let's get back to the video. Okay, so first ever Barbie movie ever, Barbie and the Nutcracker. So Barbie stars as Clara, an angsty teen that receives a nutcracker for Christmas from her Aunt Drosselmeyer, who apparently got this because she boinked the Chinese emperor.
Then he bowed and asked me to dance. I couldn't say no to the king.
Like, imagine going all the way to China to try to be a sugar baby, and the only thing that you get for your services is this ugly nutcracker. Like, I think somebody needs some sprinkle advice in her life, you know? I'm just saying, couldn't be me. I mean, is the nutcracker Gucci? Anyways, all of a sudden the nutcracker comes to life, and he has like this epic Jason Bourne showdown fight with a Mouse King army. But despite his best efforts, Clara ends up getting shrunken down into the size of the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker tells her, like, look, bitch, you're not the only one that got cursed by the Mouse King, all right? So if you want to get back to your normal size and you want to help me along with other people that got f***ed up the ass by this Mouse King, you gotta help me find the Sugar Plum Princess. And she's like, bet, okay, like what the else am I supposed to do? You know, I'm literally the size of a nutcracker. So anyways, she goes on this adventure with the Nutcracker, and they set out to find the Sugar Plum Princess. So while they're on this journey together, they not only find out that the Nutcracker is not really a nutcracker, he's actually the lost Prince Eric, but he also has extreme riz.
What?
They say you're beautiful.
Yeah, like, they call me the Nutcracker, but like, I'm sure you can bust nuts in your mouth too, right? Are you guys rizzed up? Is it the bucket hat? Anyways, at the end of the movie, the Nutcracker / Prince Eric is like, look, I've been a boy this whole time. I need to prove myself. And I'm gonna do that by fighting the Mouse King. So the Nutcracker and the Mouse King have this epic showdown fight. And let me tell you, they really pulled out their whole badussy and everything in the 2001 Microsoft PowerPoint effects package they had back then to make this beautiful fight scene. But then they find out that Clara is actually the key to this whole thing to defeat the Mouse King, because actually she's the Sugar Plum Princess. Didn't see that one coming. It was better than I remembered, but it was a little slow at times, okay? It's a good movie. Barbie in Rapunzel. So in this movie, Barbie plays Rapunzel, who is the adopted daughter of Mother Gothel. And in order to keep Rapunzel safe and away from other humans, she locks Rapunzel in this huge tower, and it's guarded by a magical invisible wall, so not a single soul could ever touch or feast their eyes on Rapunzel. So one day, curious little Rapunzel and her dragon and rabbit friend wander down, and they find this tunnel that connects the tower all the way to a town with real people in it. And there she meets Prince Stefan, a beautiful, spicy white man with a chiseled jawline, built like an oak tree, bitch. So naturally, you know, wet in the pants, clenching, horny as Rapunzel is like, how do I get out of this tower and in to Prince Stefan. The girl's having wet dreams of Stefan pulling on her hair sensually. You know, she's using her magic paintbrush that her birth parents gave her that like teleports her to wherever she paints to try to get away from Gothel. But every single time, Gothel's horny ass weasel Otto stops her. Probably because he's just jealous that the angsty rabbit doesn't even want his furry, crusty ass.
Give him to me.
He's all yours.
Yeah.
So at the end, they all realize that actually Gothel kidnapped Rapunzel, who was a princess, by the way, and then she frames the kidnapping on Prince Stefan's kingdom so that they can start a 20-year war. And she did all this, ready? Because she was mad that Rapunzel's dad picked Rapunzel's mom over her.
You loved me. No, Gothel. I never loved you. Bruh.
You guys, Gothel was the OG nice guy / femcel. Guys, like King Wilhelm literally turned me down for a fake blonde bitch. Like, she's not even really blonde. Why do nice girls with superpowers always finish last? Should I steal a baby? Look, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love a good, you know, CEO, women empowerment type princess movies. But look, bitch, I'm 27, all right? I'm tired. Sometimes I just want to be the little ditzy, illiterate white girl that gets picked by the hot prince with a chiseled jawline. Is that too much to ask? Another fan favorite, we have Barbie in the Swan Lake. So in this movie, Barbie plays Odette, who is a shy girl with the personality of a Popeye's biscuit, if I'm being honest here. And one day she decides to follow a pink unicorn into an enchanted, creepy forest with a fairy queen and a bunch of creepy elves that look like badly animated children. Honestly, I feel like every single birth control company should like take the depiction of these kids and use it for like all their ads, because honestly nothing gets you remembering to take your birth control more than looking at these awfully animated, scary children. So while Odette is in this forest, she like picks up this magical stone, and this is important because the only person that's able to pick up this stone is someone who is destined to like save the enchanted forest from Rothbart, which is the fairy queen's evil cousin. And apparently he's like really mad because he like didn't inherit the enchanted forest and the fairy queen did, and he's all like salty about it. So anyways, now he's mad and he tries to kill Odette, but the stone helps her and keeps her safe. So she doesn't die, but she turns into a swan. And the fairy queen tells Odette, look, Rothbart puts a spell on you, he put a spell on all the elves, he's like weakened my superpowers, and you need to go out there and you need to save us all. I cannot help you with that, by the way. So Odette's like, okay, bitch, like what the fuck else am I supposed to do? Like go home like this? Hell no. And Rothbart finds out that, look, maybe he can't kill Odette, but a human can. So what he does is he lures in Prince Daniel to come and shoot Odette while she's in swan form. And I guess he doesn't do this because he's like attracted to Odette while she's a swan.
What a prize. So beautiful.
Like he a furry for real. Can you just imagine going into his like royal room at the castle and there's just tons of Sonic the Hedgehog fanfic and like Judy Hopps just everywhere, all over the walls. Anyways, at the end, they realize that the only way that they can break Rothbart's spell is through true love. True love is the only thing that can help break the spell. The end. I'm sorry, okay? I know this is so many people's favorite movie, but like, look, it's a good concept, but Odette and Daniel are boring as All right, we came across the actual fan favorite. This is by far the most popular Barbie movie ever, and it is Barbie, Princess and the Pauper. So Princess and the Pauper stars, you know, Princess Annalise, the princess, and the pauper Erica, and these two were born on the same exact day. They look exactly the same, but one is blonde and rich, and the other one has dark hair and is poor. And one day, like when they're 18 or something, they come across each other face to face, and they realize like, wow, we actually have so much in common. We both feel trapped in our lives. Princess Annalise is like, yeah, I'm like feeling really trapped because I had to marry some rando king because like my palace is going out of business, like someone's been stealing all of our gold, my people are starving. Ugh. It's their royal advisor Preminger, but she doesn't know that at this point. And I actually really want to marry my boy toy slash tutor Julian because he's got a huge and he's got a chiseled jawline. And Erica's like, oh my god, like I literally can relate to that because I'm literally an indentured servant who will literally never be able to be free. Yeah, we're exactly the same. It's giving Kylie Jenner when she was like making TikToks in her car for the aesthetic. Like as if people, everyday people were filming TikToks in their car for aesthetic purposes. Yeah, she's so relatable. She's just like you. Anyways, getting back onto the plot. Preminger, again, Annalise's royal advisor that's been stealing from her, he ends up kidnapping Annalise and he tries to kill her so that he can take over the throne. And then while he's doing all this, Julian, who is Annalise's boy toy slash tutor, is like, I'm gonna investigate this for myself. So he recruits Erica, the Pauper, to take the place of Annalise for a little bit. And then he's gonna go in and try to investigate who's like behind the kidnapping, who's behind stealing all the gold. And at the end, they come and realize that Preminger is actually behind all this. And then Annalise marries Julian, and then Erica marries like the rando king that Annalise was supposed to marry, and then they live happily ever after. And you guys might be thinking, wow, like there's no horny weasel in here, there's no furry prince in here, like whoa, what? Wrong! Because in this movie, we've got horny cats.
Sophie and Serafina lived happily ever after, along with their many, many, many kittens.
10 out of 10 movie, okay? Nothing got me popping my on the playground more than the songs from this movie. All right, next we have Barbie in Fairytopia. So this movie stars Barbie as Alina, who is a wingless fairy. And apparently, like, she's the only wingless fairy. Everyone else has wings, and they make fun of her about it. But then one day, the fairies find out that Laverna, an evil fairy, has captured all of Fairytopia's guardians, and she's planning on taking all the power for herself so she can be the sole ruler. So all of the fairies go into like this 2020 COVID lockdown situation. But then Alina is like, look bitch, I might not have wings, but I'm about to show all you bitches what I'm capable of, okay? So she sets out and goes on this long journey to try to save Fairytopia and all the guardians. There aren't any like horny animals or furries in this movie, but they replace them with the creepiest characters that have ever been animated. I'm not kidding.
Much better, thank you.
Actually, wait. This one kind of looks like Ethan Slater. Like, dude, this is like Ariana watching this movie right now. I'm sorry, I love Ariana, but like, he really does look like Ethan Slater. Bring back the horny weasel, okay? All right, getting back on track now. Laverna at the end tries to manipulate Alina into coming to the dark side, like Emperor Palpatine to Anakin Skywalker style. And she's like, look, Alina, if you come over to the dark side, I will give you wings. And Alina is like, no, bitch, I can serve without wings. Like, I've been doing this whole time. So she, ends up saving Fairytopia and not taking Laverna up on her offer. And the Guardians are so grateful for Alina that they end up giving her her wings anyways. And they're this pretty pink and purple wings, not the ugly, nasty ones that Laverna was trying to give her. All right, we have Barbie Pegasus. So in this movie, Barbie plays Annika, an angsty teenage princess with extremely overbearing parents. So one day, Annika sneaks out the castle with her baby polar bear sidekick, and she attends like this town ice skating event, when all of a sudden, this disgusting 37-year-old Discord mod, creepy looking ass wizard named Wenlock appears out of nowhere, and he's like, Annika, I know that you're 17 and I'm 37, but I want to marry you. And Annika is like, no, you literally give me the ick. You the type of guy that has stains that take 5 to 7 business days to diffuse. Like, you literally give me the ick, no, not interested, bye. And Wenlock is like, no one says no to me, because he's been watching like the Fresh and Fit podcast for 3 days and he's just feeling empowered. So he like ends up freezing her parents, the whole town, and he's like, look, bitch, you've got 3 days to come back and marry me, and if you don't, All your friends and family are gonna be frozen forever. When this unicorn comes and picks up Annika and saves her from Wenlock temporarily. And they found out that actually the unicorn is Brietta, who is Annika's older sister, and Wenlock tried to marry her too, and when she said no, he turned her into a unicorn. So then Annika is like, okay, I really don't want to keep my parents and all of our town people frozen, but like I don't also want to like deep throat Wenlock's 2-inch mozzarella stick for the rest of my life. So let's go with option 3, which is to make the Wand of Light. So Brietta and Annika set out to go like find all the items they need to make this Wand of Light to defeat Wenlock. And along the way, you know, they meet Aiden, who's a spicy white boy, and you know, he helps them on their journey. But at the end, they realize that the only way that they can get the Wand of Light to work is to use it for the greater good, to use it for the power of love of their parents and their people. Look, it's an accurate depiction of what an alpha male podcaster is like, but I'm taking away a point because Shiver, who's like the baby polar bear sidekick in this, she's annoying as shit, dude. She doesn't do anything. Barbie Mermaidia. This is the part 2 to the Fairytopia movie that we just talked about. So in this movie, Laverna tries to take over Fairytopia for a second time, but this time she's sure that she has the winning formula, okay? The audacity of a YouTube pickup artist and this invincibility berry that she's about to steal. So in order to do that, she has her fungi. That's literally what they're called. She has her fungi go and kidnap Prince Nalu of Mermaidia to try to get this magical berry. So then Alina and her annoying friend Nori go and try to save Prince Nalu, and then they live happily ever after. This movie is like literally like the first one. There's like not that much of a difference. They still continued with the whole like creepy character thing.
Oh, well, why did you say so?
Oh man, where do I start off with this one? Barbie Diaries. So this is like the first one where Barbie is Barbie and it like takes place in modern day. And for some reason, the animation just goes to complete So the plot of this movie is essentially a direct ripoff of the movie Mean Girls, but like the Kids Bop version of it. So long story short, Barbie is an unpopular, cringy teenager, and she comes across a magical diary and bracelet, and whatever she writes in the diary, it like comes true. So she wishes to become popular. And then she realizes that popular isn't so great and that she would rather be an unpopular person with her best friends than being petty and mean with all the popular people. The most notable thing in this movie is that Barbie is like in a girl band group with her best friends, and they do like a bunch of musical numbers. And like the only way I can describe what these look like and feel like is like the NPCs from Guitar Hero, but like the Christian version of them. Also, throughout the movie, she has like a crush on the popular guy named Todd, but then she ends up like falling in love with her best friend Kevin, even though he's like a complete nice guy who's like really creepy and definitely on track to being a male podcaster.
I was shooting cheerleader practice and look what wandered into my shot. Sweet girl hug. Girl hug with Kevin?
But you know, to each their own. It just wasn't a good movie. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses, another big fan favorite. So Barbie is Princess Genevieve, and Princess Genevieve, along with her 11 other princess sisters, are badly behaved princesses, and they don't behave like princesses should. So their dad, aka the king, recruits his sister, their aunt, to come over and give the girls like proper princess etiquette training. However, the aunt ends up being evil and like pretty much the depiction of how Fox News views childless women in their 30s. So, you know, she poisons her brother and she puts the girls on lockdown to try to take over the kingdom. Even though the girls are on lockdown, they find out that they have like access to this alternative universe where everything they wish for comes true. And you know, instead of wishing for something useful, like, I don't know, trying to defeat your evil aunt that's poisoning your dad. They end up wasting all their wishes on like these NPC princes to dance with them for a couple days. But all is good because at the end, the girls come together and they use their like weird white people skills they've acquired from being jobless people, and they defeat their aunt. And that's how the movie ends. You know, I love the representation of the spicy white guy in these movies. You know, we had Prince Daniel, who was a furry. We have Aiden, who was a gambling addict turned to a good boy. And now we have Derek, who's a shoe cobbler. And you know, by that definition, he probably likes feet. I mean, the representation here, it's amazing. Barbie Fairytopia, the magic of the rainbow. Okay, so this is movie number 3 to the whole like Alina Fairytopia whole trilogy thing. And in this movie, Alina unleashes Laverna again, and she a bunch of shit up, and then she feels insecure, and then she uses a bunch of magic to like fix everything. In order to keep this video like under 3 hours and entertaining, I will not be talking about the movies that just have zero substance. I felt this movie was just like the most generic, like formulaic thing ever, and I just don't care. Barbie Island Princess. So Barbie plays Ro, who is a teenage girl that was rescued and raised by a bunch of island animals due to a shipwreck accident that happened when she was a child. So all is good in the hood until Prince Antonio pops up on the island. So Prince Antonio sees Ro, you know, our barefoot queen, and she can talk to animals, she acts like animals, and he's like, oh my god, that's like literally so hot, I'm literally a furry. So he invites Ro and her animal friends back to his kingdom, probably to fulfill some crazy, raunchy, furry fanfic that he's been writing on Reddit for the past few months. But then, you know, Ro agrees because she's also thirsty for some human So once Ro and the animals all get to the kingdom, everyone is like super racist towards them, and I guess it's because Prince Antonio was also like engaged to Princess Luciana, but Princess Luciana's mom, Ariana, is like plotting to marry off her daughter and then like poison everybody to take the kingdom for herself. And then she framed all of this on Ro, like Ro was some dirty bitch that caused a bunch of disease. So the rest of the movie is Ro trying to like tell everyone like, hey bitch, I might be a barefoot queen, but like I shower and you guys don't, like you're literally not even showering, you guys smell so disgusting. And so at the end, everyone realizes that it's Ariana. And then they also reveal that Ro isn't some random barefoot queen bitch. She's actually the lost princess. Now that she's a princess, she's like worthy enough to marry Prince Antonio. So that's what happens. Aww. Look, this is a pretty good movie and the soundtrack is fire, okay? The cheese song, are you kidding me?
Cheese, 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 cheese.
All right, we are at Barbie Mariposa. Okay, so this is the 4th movie in the whole like Fairytopia universe thing. But instead of having the movie focus on Alina, it's Alina telling Bibble a story about a girl named Mariposa. So at least we have that going for us. So in this movie, there's like a land called Flutterfield, and it houses a bunch of like butterfly fairies. And Flutterfield is protected by the queen's glimmering lights. But then the queen gets poisoned by her own advisor named Henna. So since the queen is poisoned, the glimmering lights that power up Flutterfield is dimming, which makes all the fairies that live there vulnerable to these things called skeezites. Not kidding, they're literally called skeezites. So Mariposa, a self-proclaimed girl that's not like the other girls because she reads, she like goes on this journey to like save, you know, Flutterfield, and she like helps defeat the skeezites because she's like really smart because she reads and she's like not like the other girls. Look, it's just like the other Fairytopia movies, predictable, the characters are so bland. I'm just ready to go on to the next one. Next. Okay, we have another absolute banger in the BCU here, the Barbie Cinematic Universe, and it is Barbie in the Diamond Castle. So the movie stars 2 girls, Alexa and Liana, who are best friends that live together, and one day while they were dancing with each other and chasing each other around, Boink. They find a mirror with a girl named Melody inside of it. And then Melody tells them that actually she's an apprentice to the three muses, you know, the three white women that control all of music throughout the universe. And one of the muses, named Lydia, has gone completely rogue. She's frozen the other two muses. She's gone after Melody, and right now she's trying to destroy all of music as we know it so that she can take all the power of music for herself. And the only way that they can stop her is by finding the Diamond Castle before she does. So the three girls plus a set of twins that literally look like the Property Brothers go on this journey to try to find the Diamond Castle before Lydia does. And while they're doing this, Lydia and her himbo dragon Slider try to manipulate the girls into turning on each other, but it doesn't work because through the power of friendship, of female friendship, nothing can break the bond between the three of them. Guys, the music in this movie is legit so good. And I love how this movie is so LGBTQ coded. Alexa and Liana are just two innocent best friends that live together, own a business together, sleep in the same room, they feed each other, and they like chase each other with soapy dish towels. Okay. And Lydia plays the flute. I bet she's really good at blowing pipe. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgot to mention, but like the majority of these early Barbie movies starts with like Barbie as Barbie, and then one of her sisters like comes in the room and she's like really mad about something, and in order to console her sister, she like tells her the story, and like that's where the movie starts. Like, I don't know about you, but like if I had an older sister and I was like trying to like get advice, and the only thing that this bitch can tell me is like a Barbie story, like how the f is that supposed to make me feel better? Hey Barbie, so like my friend Kelsey stole my boyfriend, so like should I put gasoline in her vape or should I like just punch her in the throat? Ooh, that's a really hard situation. But you know, this reminds me of a story where there's a magical land filled with flying serpents and magical fairies. So they all scissored and they lived happily ever after. You feel better now? No, I still want to punch Kelsey in the throat. I thought like the scissoring would like help you make you feel better, you know? Barbie in A Christmas Carol. So this movie is pretty much exactly what it sounds like, which is the Barbie version of A Christmas Carol. So Barbie is the British Victorian version of herself named Edith. And Edith is supposed to be like the Scrooge of the story, but instead of being a really cheap, awful businessman, she's like a famous singer who treats her employees like slightly worse than Amazon does. And you know, she meets the three ghosts, the ghosts of Chris's present, past, and future, and the ghost pretty much shows her that like, look bitch, if you're not like nice to your employees and give them like benefits, you're going to end up to be an ugly, lonely, decrepit, unpopular bitch. Like, do you want that? And Edith is like, oh my God, like literally no. Oh, sorry, let me do that in a British accent. Oh my God, literally no. Edith finds out that she doesn't like her future in the way that she's trending. So she turns out to be a nice person and she gives her employees benefits. The best part of this movie is Chazowet, who is Edith's fat British cat. That's how you have to say it every time. Chazowet. And I love that name because like to me, it sounds like a delicate British dish that they're all like super hyped about, but like no one else in the world knows about. So what's your favorite dish, Indy? A jam roly-poly chazowet at the Carvery. Woo! Like you wouldn't even question it. All right, Barbie Thumbelina. So the way I would describe this movie is that it's pretty much the plot of the Lorax, but with like Tinkerbell type animation. So McKenna is a bratty tween child of two billionaires who are trying to build the next Amazon warehouse in this land where a bunch of Twillerbees live, including like Thumbelina and all of her friends. So in this movie, Thumbelina and the Twillerbees, AKA the proletariat, try to fight to take their rightfully owned land from the blood-sucking, awful, greedy capitalists that are just trying to profit off these hard-working class Twillerbees, and then they all find out that actually capitalism is the evil that kills everything. Gen Z would love this movie. Also, my favorite part of this movie is that, like, I love the name Twillerbees. Like, it sounds like a bratty cheer squad name from, like, an early 2000s cheer movie, like Bring It On or something. Look, Rachel, it looks like the Chodes think that they're gonna win. Well, newsflash, the Twillerbees have never lost a big kahuna showdown, and we're not about to right now. Come on, Twillerbees, let's show them what we got. We got another good movie here, Barbie and the Three Musketeers. Barbie plays Corinne, a 17-year-old French girl who just wants to be a musketeer like her dad. So she moves all the way to Paris just for the male musketeers to slam the door in her face, forcing her to be a housekeeper for the castle, along with 3 other girls that also apparently want to be musketeers. So during work one day, Corinne and her 3 co-workers find out that actually Prince Louis's cousin, Philippe, is trying to plot to kill him so that he could take over the throne. So, you know, naturally the 4 girls go to the musketeers and they're like, hey, someone's trying to kill the prince. And then, like, the male musketeers are like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? Like, we don't even believe you. Like, are you on your periods or something? Like, you guys are so delulu right now. Like, that's literally not even happening. So the 4 girls are like, okay, like, just because our periods are sinking doesn't mean that we're delulu, you know? So the 4 of them go on and they train in the special ancient martial art technique of serving and they end up being their own musketeers and saving the prince, and then they like spit on all the faces of the male musketeers that like didn't believe them in the first place. Look, Barbie Three Musketeers walked so that Black Widow could run. Okay, do you guys hear the witty one-liners out of this movie right now?
Those boots are so last season. Nice story. Too bad yours won't have a happy ending. Gotta be quicker than that.
Like, tell me that wouldn't be in the next superhero movie. Hello? All right, next we got Barbie and a Mermaid Tale. So in this movie, Barbie plays Merlia, who is a famous surfer, but then Merlia finds out that she's actually half human, half mermaid. And not just any ordinary H2O ass looking ass bitch mermaid, but she's the daughter of the Queen of Oceania, which makes her a princess. And one day she finds out that her evil Aunt Eris has overthrown her mom. And so, you know, now that she's a princess and feels like this responsibility to save her people, she goes to Oceania, pretends to be a mermaid, and then she finds ways to like overthrow Eris. Okay, at this point, I really felt like I lost my ability to be objective because I feel like all these movies are starting to sound the same to me. Okay, also, I'm gonna take off this wig because it's literally killing me. Dude, no wonder why Hannah Montana came out. Like, she told her secret to everyone because that wig was probably just f***ing killing her. Like, she was just tired of it. All right, we got Barbie and a fashion fairy tale. This is the first movie where like Barbie is like an actress. So that's how she fits into this whole like BCU thing. She's an actress, and all these movies is her acting in them. So the plot of this movie is that Barbie gets fired from one of the movies that she's filming, and on the same day she also like gets canceled on Twitter, and like also Ken breaks up with her, and this makes her spiral into her quarter life crisis. You know, relatable. And then she decides to take a break from acting, and then she's gonna spend some time in Paris with her Aunt Millicent, who definitely was a swinger in the 70s. So once she gets there, she realizes that her aunt that once had this booming like fashion business is like going out of business now. So in order to help her aunt not go out of business, Barbie and her Aunt Millicent's intern and a bunch of flairies, okay, they're called flairies, they add flair to outfits that people design. They set up a fashion show to raise enough money to keep Aunt Millicent's business alive. Guys, I am also pleased to tell you that we have the return of the horny animals. Round of applause, yes, yes, yes. We had horny cats, we've had a horny weasel, and in this movie we have horny dogs.
Ooh la la. A dog like that.
Honestly, the only critique I have to this movie is that, you know, Barbie's in her quarter life crisis and they should have given her like bangs and she like signs up for grad school just to like really make it believable that she's in her quarter life crisis, you know what I mean? Barbie in a Fairy Secret. This movie has no substance. I'm just... Alright, next we have Princess Charm School. So in this movie, Barbie plays Blair, a working class adopted kid who ends up winning the Princess Charm School lottery. So the Princess Charm School lottery is, I guess, like a lottery where they pick one poor, disgusting, unfortunate soul working class person, and they have a chance to go to Princess Charm School and be part of royalty. Then once Blair goes to the charm school, everyone is like super classist to her, especially Dane Devon and her mean girl daughter Delancey. Like, this is how I imagine it would feel like to get bullied by Hailey Bieber, like Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, like that whole mean girl clan. That's exactly how I pictured this. Despite all of this though, Blair was able to make a few friends, including this Asian girl that has chopsticks in her hair. She also befriends the head mistress of the whole school, who gives her like one-on-one Karate Kid style training to make sure she passes all of her classes. But then later in the movie, the girls uncover that Dane Devon is such a because apparently like years ago, the king, queen, and their princess daughter died in a car crash, and she's trying to pretty much just take that princess seat for her daughter Delancey. And they realize that actually Blair, are you ready for this? Blair is the lost princess. Who would have thought? So knowing this information, Dane Devon is like, oh hell no, these bitches are not taking away my spotlight. But then the girls are like, hell no, like Dane Devon, you were f***ing around, now you're gonna be in the find out stage. So they get to coronation night, and they get Dane Devon to expose that she's actually the one that like murdered the king and queen and almost murdered the princess. Blair becomes rightful heir to the throne, all is well, and that's the movie. Okay, we have Princess and the Pop Star. Oh man, where do I get started on this one? So, long story short, there's a princess and there's a pop star, and then they meet face to face one day at a party that's happening at the palace, and they instantly click over the fact that they both feel trapped. Princess feels like she doesn't have any freedom because she has to be like a princess all the time, and then like the pop star also feels like because she's touring and making millions of dollars every day, she's just like trapped, you know? Yeah. So then they decide that the only thing they can do to fix all their problems is to switch places for a couple days and not tell anybody. While this is all happening, I guess like the pop star's manager named Kreider, he's like this unsuccessful theater kid that I guess peaked in high school, and he's just longing for fame and he wants to be his own viral pop star, and it's just like never happened to him. So he steals a bunch of magical diamonds from the castle. It doesn't impact the girls at all until literally like the last 5 minutes of the movie. The girls are like, you can't steal that, and then they stop him. And then they put on like this mid-talent show at the end. Honestly, like he probably would have become a pop star if he didn't dress like a Facebook mom on Toddlers and Tiaras, but I mean, to each their own. They literally just took the masterpiece of Princess and the Pauper and they just took away all the things that were really good about it. Like they kid bopified the whole soundtrack. I would describe this movie as James Corden and Cocomelon coming together and ruining the masterpiece of Princess and the Pauper. That's exactly what this movie is. Barbie the Pearl Princess. At this point, I was honestly just longing for a reasonable plot and understandable characters. And that's pretty much what this movie is. So in this movie, Barbie plays Lumina, who's a mermaid, and she has like these magical pearls, and she lives with her Aunt Scylla. And one day, Aunt Scylla is, I guess, requested by the kingdom to go to a royal ball. She dips and she tells Lumina, stay here, you're not going. But then Lumina was like, nah, f that, I'm trying to live my best life. So without her aunt knowing, she secretly follows her aunt to the kingdom. And I'll give you guys 3 seconds to try to predict what happens at the end, okay? Did you guess it? Lumina is actually the lost princess. What? Yeah, so we find out that her Aunt Scylla is not actually her aunt, but she was a witch that was contracted to kill Lumina, who was the lost princess, by the king's brother so that he could take the throne for his son himself, which Scylla couldn't do that to a little infant, so she ended up raising Lumina as her own. You know, the whole kill an infant so that you can take over the throne trope in these Barbie movies that they've done, I don't know, like 20 times at this point. I just feel like every single one of these movies are just becoming a formula, and it comes down to like, you know, build a bitch, like the Bella Pork song, you know, build a bear, build a bitch. You pick your skin, your prince, and your animal sidekick. Like, let's build a Barbie movie right now, okay? Number one, your skin. Are you a princess? Are you a fairy, or are you a mermaid? Okay, the next part is that you gotta build your prince, right? Is your prince a spicy white boy with abs, or a not spicy white boy with abs, but he's a furry? And lastly, you gotta pick your animal sidekick. Does your animal sidekick talk? And then at level 20, that's when you get to unlock the horniness levels of your animal sidekick. Like the weasel in Rapunzel is the final boss of a sidekick that you could ever get in these Barbie movies, okay? All right, next we got a Barbie in the Secret Door. So, the plot of this movie is literally just Alice in Wonderland, but if we added a bunch of these god-awful, unnecessary dance scenes, you guys cannot convince me that these dance moves are not the same dance moves that we all simultaneously did in the 5th grade for our talent show. Like, the only move that they're missing is this one right here. Like, why do we all do that? Also, like, this is an animated movie. Like, we could animate Barbie to literally be popping her Miami style, but instead we're going with the Christian version of Camp Rock? Like, why? Princess Power. So this movie is pretty much just the Barbie version of Spider-Man. I'm gonna give this movie a 1 and not a 0 because it was better than Man of Steel and most of the DC movies. We finally have a banger again, and this is Barbie Spy Squad. Finally came across a certified hood classic, okay? I was literally contracting Benjamin Button's disease watching the last 10 movies, but this one's actually really good, I promise. So look, if you're one of those people that spend all your money at the Scholastic Book Fair on spy gear instead of books, bitch, this is the movie for you, okay? The plot of this movie is that Barbie and her two friends, Teresa and Renee, are high school gymnasts, and one day Renee's MILF aunt comes and she like recruits the 3 girls to become spies. Apparently there's like this jewel thief that keeps stealing high value art, and honestly, like, who better to stop a high profile jewel thief than high school gymnasts? Like, are you kidding me? So throughout the whole movie, the spy agency trains the girls on how to be spies, and then they go on like little missions and stuff. So they teach them how to fight using like American Ninja Warrior obstacles. And then they give them like high-tech spy gear like sparkle bombs and lipstick guns. Bitch, you cannot tell me that 5th grade you would not be spending your $50 that you were supposed to spend on books at the Scholastic Book Fair on a fucking sparkle bomb spy gear. Oh my god. Oh my god. And finally, we have some useful pet sidekicks. So all the girls get like these robo pets, and they look like the 2008 iHome speakers we all had. Guys, not only do these robo pets like help the girls on missions, but they like fully blast Fergalicious with extreme bass out their assholes. Like, it's incredible. Also, Barbie and her friends are like manifesting queens. Like, apparently Barbie keeps like up all the missions, but she learns at the agency that through the power of manifestation, she can boss babe her way up if she was only a little bit more delulu. And that's exactly what she does. Guys, she was able to pick out that the jewel thief is actually her gymnastic opponent through bad vibes solely. And then she like takes her down Mission Impossible style. It was incredible. One of the best Barbie movies out there, and I wholeheartedly mean that. All right, next we have Barbie Starlight Adventure. And this one's like pretty good, I would say. It's a little different than the other ones, which I like. So Barbie is a cosmic princess that lives with her extremely hot dad. Like, why is the dad so hot in this movie? Am I just old? Can you guys tell I have daddy issues? Anyways, lights in the stars are dimming, and that's really bad for a reason that I forgot. So King Constantine, who is like the king of all the universe, he recruits Barbie along with a bunch of other 15-year-olds to come train with him, and they're gonna like capture some space monsters and like re-nourish the stars so they shine again. And that's pretty much what they do. I just feel like the plot lacks so much depth because like everyone is already good at what they do and they like all get along and there's like no conflict, there's nothing for them to overcome. Guys, they're literally 15-year-olds. We couldn't manufacture like a problem for a bunch of 15-year-olds to overcome. Like, I don't know, make them work like the Victoria's Secret Black Friday shit. Make them go ask a minimum wage employee for extra ketchup. 15-year-olds hate that shit. That would have been actually the scariest quest they've ever been on. Barbie in the video game Hero. Barbie is a boss babe Discord kitten that gets transported into a game that she created, and she has to like defeat an evil emoji. Do you guys want me to continue to talk about this movie? Like, I don't. Barbie Princess Adventure. So this is like Princess and the Pauper Part 3, but instead of the princess and the pauper, or princess and the pop star, it's like princess and a vlogger. Yeah. All right, next we have Big City, Big Dreams, another fan favorite, and it's aight. It's not the best movie. So the plot of this movie is that Barbie meets another Barbie at a performing arts summer camp that she attends, and instantly the two are best friends, and they do best friend things like dance together, sing together, perform together, sleep together, feed each other, say that they're perfect for each other. You know, things that all girls do with their other girl best friends. So anyways, the two girls enter a competition, but one day, white Barbie accidentally sprains the ankle of black Barbie, and then they get into like this little misunderstanding. But then all is well, because at the end of the movie, the two girls realize that even competition cannot break the bond of love that they have for each other. So they make up, and then they come back, and they perform together. I don't know, guys, I feel like this is a pretty accurate depiction of a performing arts summer camp. I mean, two girls have their bisexuality awakening, someone gets injured, they put on a mid-talent show at the end of it. The only thing that's missing from this is that like some band kid named Keith gets like a foot job by two oboe players. But other than that, it's a pretty accurate depiction of performing arts. Okay, look, I really want to give you guys a summary of like the last 3 movies here, but I honestly just could not do it. All these movies kind of felt like baby stimulating movies. I literally felt like I needed to put like Subway Surfers on both sides of the TV for me to like get my brain stimulating again, because it was just lacking so much substance in these movies. Now for the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the live action Barbie movie. I even put my blonde wig back on for you guys, okay? So this section of the video is probably not going to be as funny as previous sections because there's not that much cringe for me to make fun of in the first place, but I wanted to cover it anyways because it was such a great movie. The plot of the movie is that there's a bunch of Barbies in a place called Barbie Land, which is honestly just a tampon commercial on crack. Women hold all the powerful positions, they make all the decisions, they like just go to work to a job that they're really passionate and really good at, and then they come home and they just have like a crazy girls' night every single night, and like all the Ken dolls are just accessories to the Barbies, and their only purpose in life is to get validation from Barbies. It's pretty much like the world that all the aesthetic girlies on TikTok try to sell you. Like if you buy their course and use their collagen cream, like this is what your life looks like. So one day, Margot Robbie's Barbie, which is called the stereotypical Barbie, so she's not like a CEO or an astronaut or anything like that, she's just like a really hot blonde Barbie. She starts to malfunction. Her feet get flat, she gets cellulite, and most of all, she starts to have thoughts of death and she's like getting depressed. So she finds out that in order to fix herself, she needs to go to the real world and find the little girl that's been playing with her and like fix her depression, because her depression in turn like messes up Barbie and Barbie Land. Make sense? So Barbie and Ken doll end up going to the real world together to try to fix this problem, but they find out that the real world is not really what they expected. So Barbie finds the depressed little girl and mom that's like making her malfunction, and like a boomer that is trying to give you really bad mental health advice, she just tells them to boss babe their way out of it, essentially. She pretty much tells them like, look, if me, a hot, skinny, blonde, straight white girl who's a doll that's not real, if she can like be an astronaut, a baker, a doctor, a president, and have quintuple K perky titties at the age of 60, you can get through your problem. Obviously, this doesn't work. In the meantime, Ken doll finds out about patriarchy. And because he's been blue-balled by Barbie like his whole life, he just goes Andrew Tate mode with the slip of power that he has. He tries to get like crazy, powerful jobs like CEO and president and stuff like that just by being a dude. And he ends up not getting a single job because he literally has 0 skills. So he's like, F this shit. I'm gonna go back to Barbie Land, and he instills his version of patriarchy, which is that we should just worship the ground that men walk on because they're men. And Andrew Tate's alpha male wet dream, if you will. So then the rest of the movie is all the Barbies come together and they're like, I don't like this version of Barbie Land where everything looks like it's sponsored by Taco Bell and smells like cum. Let's go back to the other Barbie Land that we had. And then they were able to like easily manipulate the men and take back Barbie Land, but they realized, wait a minute, maybe we should make some changes to the Barbie Land that we previously had. The previous Barbie Land kind of represented this boss babe, superficial, the way that Marvel writes female characters type of feminism. Even though it's great to show women in power and to pave ways for little girls to be whatever they want to be, it can set unrealistic expectations on women. What if you're a normal woman that just wants to go to work and come home and jack off to Property Brothers and make TikToks on the internet? Like, are you less of a woman? No, I would hope not. As for Ken doll, he realizes that even though the patriarchy does benefit men, it can also make men feel really left out just in the boss babe feminism Barbie Land thing that he lived in previously. Even with the patriarchy that he himself set up for himself in Barbie Land, he still had this unrealistic expectation put on himself by the other Ken dolls, including himself. It made the other Ken dolls, including himself, feel like the only way they can get validation is to be this girthy, ripped CEO with the hottest Barbie on their arm, with the biggest Mojo Dojo Ken doll house that smells like cum. And that's not very fulfilling for anybody. What I really like about this movie is that it shows that there's not a simple fix for a really hard problem. The movie doesn't pretend to give us a solution that'll fix feminism in the real world, but it does give us a temporary solution for our main character Barbie, which is that she should just be herself and be happy, and she doesn't need to be a doctor, boss babe, CEO, astronaut, big booby influencer in order to get any respect from people. And she's not less of a person because she's not those things. I just want to say thank you guys for watching this long video. I really had a lot of fun making it. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys want me to make a video about, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!